In a busy little ant colony under the shade of a great oak tree lived an ant named Timo. He was the smallest of all the worker ants, not just in size but in voice too. Whenever he spoke, others hardly noticed, and when he tried to help, the bigger ants would often laugh. "Let the strong ants handle it, Timo," they'd say, chuckling. But deep down, Timo believed something powerful. Even small steps can shake the world. One afternoon, dark clouds gathered in the sky. A storm was coming. All the ants rushed to carry food and reinforce tunnels. Timo was gathering tiny pebbles when he noticed something strange, a low rumble coming from the hills above. He scampered up a twig to get a better look. That's when he saw it. A huge chunk of mud and snow, melting from the storm, was beginning to slide. An avalanche was forming, and it was heading straight for the colony. Timo's tiny heart pounded. He ran as fast as he could. "An avalanche is coming," Timo cried. The guards at the tunnel ignored him. "You're too small to know what danger looks like." He ran to the queen's chamber. "The mountain is crumbling," he warned. Even the royal guards shook their heads. "You worry too much, little ant." But Timo didn't give up. He raced back to the outer tunnels thinking, "If they won't believe me, I'll have to do something myself." Timo remembered a story his grandfather once told him. Even a small pebble can turn the tide of a river. He ran to a narrow tunnel near the entrance of the colony, the only place where the avalanche could be stopped before it rushed in. Using all his tiny strength, Timo started stacking pebbles at the entrance. He rolled them, pushed them, stacked them, until he had built a small wall. It wasn't tall, it wasn't perfect, but it was his best. The storm grew louder. The ground began to shake. Then, crash, the avalanche thundered down the hillside. Snow and mud came crashing toward the colony. The larger ants finally realized Timo was right, but it was too late to stop it. Then, the avalanche hit the wall Timo had built. There was a huge splash of mud, but the wall held just enough to slow down. That delay gave the colony time to close the emergency tunnel gates and evacuate the queen's chamber. Timo's tiny wall saved them all. When the storm passed and the danger was gone, the colony gathered around the tiny ant who had been ignored, laughed at, and dismissed. The queen herself bowed and said, "Today, you reminded us. Courage doesn't come in size. It comes in heart." From that day on, Timo became the colony's little guardian, no longer overlooked, no longer ignored. He proved that you're never too small to make a big difference. So the next time someone says, "You're too small, too weak, too young," remember Timo the ant. All it takes is belief, courage, and a tiny step in the right direction to move mountains, or even stop one. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us even the smallest voice can echo the loudest change.